Okay, great to see everyone. Welcome, and my name is Dr. Joe Pojman. I'm Executive Director of Texas Alliance for Life. Welcome to our third quarterly Leadership Circle Luncheon of 2020. Our Leadership Circle is a special way for individuals, organizations, churches, and businesses to support the life-saving work of Texas Alliance for Life through an annual financial donation of between $1,200 and $10,000 or more. If you're interested, you can join the more than 270 members who are helping us move mountains with their support. Just visit our website, texasallianceforlife.org. To those Leadership Circle members who are here in person or are watching online, we thank you from the bottom of our heart. Can we applaud you? By the way, thanks for the staff at Norris Conference Center. This is, as you can see, just a little bit unusual, and they really bent over backwards to accommodate us. So thank you all, Norris, so much. Well, I want to start out giving some updates. We have news about Planned Parenthood in Texas. First, the good news. Of the 25 abortion facilities in Texas, Planned Parenthood operates 11, including 2 of the 4 abortion facilities right here in Austin. That is until recently, when Planned Parenthood closed its facility on Burnett and 183, a huge victory. After we got the news, my staff and I celebrated right in the same business complex. More good news. The Planned Parenthood abortion facility in Waco has not performed abortions for at least 11 weeks, according to the great folks at Pro-Life Waco. We're not sure why, but they are not doing abortions there. Now, all three Planned Parenthood affiliates in Texas took millions of dollars of Small Business Administration PPP funds. Remember those? Now, however, and the Trump administration is insisting that is illegal. They should not have gotten those funds. Planned Parenthood of Greater Texas has returned it's somewhere between $2 and $5 million, saying that the loan wasn't worth the legal fight. Well, that is wonderful. However, Planned Parenthood Gulf Coast and Planned Parenthood of South Texas are defiant. They have announced they do not plan to return somewhere between $1 and $2 million each. We'll see how that pans out. I do have some really bad news. Planned Parenthood Gulf Coast, one of the 3 affiliates, Planned Parenthood Greater Texas has announced it will open a new facility in Lubbock. We're not sure when and whether it will perform abortions or just be an abortion referral site. We have known for years that they want to reopen an abortion facility in West Texas. They did recently in El Paso, and we've been waiting to see when that would next happen. We're hopeful, working with a lot of grassroots folks in the various West Texas cities, to deter them. We know that Planned Parenthood got an enormous $10 million grant to expand back into West Texas. But regardless, we have got to make sure that any Lubbock facility will not be financially viable for Planned Parenthood. They will not make money off the killing of unborn babies. So that is going to be an effort probably for years to come. The Supreme Court released its June Medical Services v. Russo decision on June 29th. You've heard that was not favorable for us. Now, our main speaker is going to give some really good analysis of that very unfortunate decision. However, we certainly learned something from the court. We do not have enough votes to overturn Roe v. Wade. That is terribly clear. Roe's terribly unjust precedent strictly prohibits pre-viability abortion bans and laws that substantially limit abortion access. That precedent will continue to stand for the foreseeable future. Every state law attempting to ban abortions on non-viable babies, dozens in recent years, heartbeat bans, dismemberment bans, bans on abortions on babies with Down syndrome, even safety regulations that risk closing abortion facilities have failed. None have withstood federal court challenges. Furthermore, courts have forced those states that have enacted those protections to reimburse the abortion industry's attorney's fees, costing taxpayers millions of dollars. When our safety regulation bill, House Bill 2, part of it went up to the Supreme Court, and we lost. The federal court awarded Planned Parenthood's attorneys, Whole Women's Health attorneys, can you believe, $4 million. That is just basically, rather than protecting innocent unborn lives, these pre-viability bans have effectively become a meal ticket for the abortion industry. So what do we do? Well, some organizations take the approach of trying to move legislation forward that simply ignores the Supreme Court. However, ignoring state and federal courts in our country, it's just not possible. We are a nation of laws based on the Constitution, which the judiciary has a responsibility of interpreting. Texas can no sooner ignore the Supreme Court on abortion today than other states could ignore the federal court-mandated dismantling of racial segregation laws in the last century. The answer is more justices on the Supreme Court who are willing to take a fresh look at Roe v. Wade. We need more votes on the Supreme Court. That's what it comes down to. How do we get there? Well, in the meantime, we must re-elect President Donald J. Trump, who gives the best and only realistic chance at appointing new justices who will allow protections for mothers and unborn children to go into effect. To that end, our board has authorized me to set up a new entity called the Texas Alliance for Life Federal PAC. That is a federal political action committee that can accept donations specifically to elect a pro-life president, Donald Trump, and pro-life members of the Congress, including Senator Cornyn. It will be what's known as a super PAC. That means that we can accept unlimited donations, and all the donations and expenditures will be transparent and publicly available. The one limitation is we do not coordinate with candidates. So it's not unusual. A lot of these super PACs have been around for a long time. And we're going to have a super PAC in Texas devoted to electing federal elected officials who are pro-life. The reality is this, friends, Donald Trump cannot be reelected in the nation without Texas. And Texas is at play. We must do our part. We must identify pro-life voters and get them out to vote. And we will. We will begin receiving contributions in mid-August. And one of our principal ways to promote our endorsed pro-life candidates, from the president down to local candidates, is our online voter guide. You just visit prolifevoterguide.org, type in your address, and you will see a list of our endorsed pro-life candidates who will appear on your ballot in the order that they will appear on your ballot in November. So that is our big news. I want to also tell you that we recently moved our office. If you've been to our building, it's in the same building, but it's a much bigger space, and we moved, and everybody has new offices, and it's gorgeous, just when the pandemic and stay-at-home order thing. So we had all this new office with great facilities, and everyone's working at home. But now we're all back together and very happy, right, staff? See, they're very happy. So, okay. Our guest speaker is Clark Forsyth, the Senior Counsel of Americans United for Life. AUL is a godsend to many state organizations because they provide model legislation that we can take to our lawmakers. And we did that in 2013 in House Bill 2 with AUL's model legislation on drug-induced abortions using RU46. American United for Life had a very clever law that basically referenced the FDA regulations, which were as good as can be, according to the courts, federal regulations on safety. And in Texas, those regulations are now law. And they had a profound effect on the abortion industry in Texas. And it survived a federal court challenge that went all the way to the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals. Mr. Forsyth has argued cases before federal and state courts and has testified before Congress and state legislatures. He is also a prolific writer on pro-life policy issues, having published more than 19 law review articles, reviewed articles in book chapters, as well as articles in First Things, the Wall Street Journal, and National Review. He is one of the nation's leading experts on abortion litigation, and he's going to give us a unique perspective on the Supreme Court's recent rulings and prospects for future Supreme Court activity in the near future and beyond. And you do have a great crystal ball, right? That's why we brought you down from Chicago? Okay. It is my honor to welcome Clark Forsyth.